It was the car that rusted before you even bought it. The 1957 Victor promised American glamour, but delivered a mechanical nightmare. From the infamous Luton Rot to boiling engines, uncover the shocking truth behind Britain's most infamous classic car disaster. The primary reason the Vauxhall Victor became a legend for all the wrong reasons can be traced back to a catastrophic decision made at the Luton factory before the cars were even assembled. In a rush to meet the massive demand for this new model, production standards slipped significantly. It is a widely held belief among historians and former workers that the raw steel sheets used for the body panels were stored outside in the factory yard, completely exposed to the damp British weather. Because this steel was often untreated and left in the rain, microscopic corrosion began to set in before the metal was even pressed into the shape of a door or a wing. When these panels were finally painted, the rudimentary primer technology of the 1950s simply trapped the moisture underneath the top coat. Essentially, the car was doomed from birth, fighting a losing battle against oxidation before a customer ever signed the paperwork. The Vauxhall Victor F-Type's clutch was a constant headache for drivers. Its heavy steel body, often fully loaded with passengers, put enormous stress on a modest clutch assembly. Stop-start city traffic, hill climbs, and long journeys quickly revealed its weakness. Many owners experience slipping under load, stiff or inconsistent pedal feel, and difficulty changing gears. Driving smoothly became an art. Veterans learned to slip the clutch carefully to avoid total failure. On long trips, a worn clutch could leave families stranded or forced to limp to the nearest garage. This fragile clutch reinforced the Victor's reputation as a vehicle that demanded skill, patience, and constant attention, making every journey a small, tense adventure behind the wheel. While the storage of steel was the cause, the phenomenon known as Luton Rot was the heartbreaking result that owners had to live with. This wasn't just standard wear and tear, it was a rapid, structural biodegradation that seemed to happen before your very eyes. Unlike other cars of the era that might rust after a decade, the Victor F-Type would often show bubbling paint on the sills and wheel arches within its first 6 months on the road. The design of the car featured complex fluting and moisture traps in the subframe that simply invited corrosion to take hold. It became a grim joke in the trade that you could hear a Vauxhall rusting on a quiet night. For many unfortunate drivers, their pride and joy failed its very first MOT test due to structural rot, requiring expensive welding work on a vehicle that wasn't even 3 years old, cementing its reputation as a biodegradable car. If the rust didn't get you, the temperature gauge likely would. The engine in the Victor was a robust iron unit, but the cooling system was woefully inadequate for modern traffic conditions. The radiator was arguably undersized for the thermal mass of the engine, but the real issue was the mechanical fan. Driven by a belt, the fan's speed was directly linked to the engine RPM. This worked fine on the open road, but in bumper-to-bumper city traffic, where the engine was idling, the fan barely spun. With no electric fan to kick in and force air through the radiator, the water temperature would skyrocket. This created the infamous Kettle Effect, leaving thousands of families stranded on the roadside with steam billowing from the bonnet. Summer holidays became a game of Russian roulette, with drivers constantly staring anxiously at the temperature needle rather than the road ahead. While the car was rotting from the outside, it was also drowning from the inside. The weather sealing on the Victor F-Type was catastrophic, particularly around the large wraparound windscreens, which were a key selling point of the design. In this era, glass was held in by rubber gaskets rather than being bonded to the frame, and as the car's body flexed during driving, the rubbers would lose their grip. In a heavy British downpour, water would bypass the seal, trickle down behind the dashboard, and soak into the carpets. Because the carpets were rubber-backed, they trapped this moisture against the steel floor pans, creating a permanent wet poultice. Owners would open their doors to a musty, damp smell and windows that were steamed up on the inside. This hidden water accelerated the floor rot, leading to the terrifying scenario where the carpet was the only thing separating the driver's feet from the road below. The driving experience of the Victor was frequently marred by a transmission that felt fragile even when it was brand new. While the 3-speed column shift, known as 3 on the tree, was standard for the era, the synchromesh on the Victor's gearbox was notoriously weak. The balk rings, which are the brass components responsible for matching gear speeds to prevent grinding, would wear out rapidly, particularly on second gear. Within 20 or 30,000 miles, the synchromesh would often fail completely. This forced drivers to learn the lost art of double-declutching, to change gears without making a horrendous noise. If you forgot to do this, every downshift was accompanied by a loud, metal-on-metal crunch that sounded like a bag of spanners being thrown into a blender. It was embarrassing for owners, signaling to everyone at the traffic lights that their almost new car was already mechanically tired. No story of a British classic is complete without mentioning the electrical systems, and the Vauxhall Victor suffered greatly from the infamous Prince of Darkness phenomenon. The car relied heavily on components from Joseph Lucas Limited, which were notorious for their susceptibility to dampness, a fatal flaw in the UK climate. The wiring loom utilised simple bullet connectors that would frequently corrode, while the grounding points, earthing, would often rust along with the bodywork, leading to intermittent failures that were a nightmare to diagnose. It was a common sight for a Victor's headlights to dim dangerously when the car was idling at traffic lights due to the weak output of the early dynamos. Indicators would stop blinking, wiper motors would slow to a crawl in heavy rain, and the car might refuse to start on a damp morning because moisture had entered the distributor cap. These gremlins eroded confidence, leaving owners constantly wondering if the lights would actually turn on when they pulled the switch. Ultimately, these fatal flaws destroyed the Vauxhall Victor's legacy. While the Morris Minor and VW Beetle remain common classics, the Victor F-Type is now an incredibly rare sight. This scarcity isn't due to low sales. Over 390,000 were built, but because the attrition rate was staggering. By the mid-1960s, Victors less than 10 years old were being scrapped in droves, rendered structurally unsafe by relentless rust. They became virtually worthless on the used market, often abandoned or traded for pennies. This severe depreciation burned a generation of loyal buyers. Although Vauxhall later fixed these issues, the F-Type stands as a harsh historical lesson on how poor materials and rushed production can wipe an entire model generation off the face of the earth.